This is not to detach you from reality, okay? That's not what it is. But this is, if you're unsatisfied with something in your life, how can you change it? What can you do to create a better reality? And it all starts with how you think and how you visualize your future. If you visualize your future the same way that your past is and your present is, well, chances are you're not going to like it very much. So start visualizing a future that you like. Hello, welcome to another episode of the Mindful Introvert Podcast. This podcast helps you to get inspiration to manifest a life in alignment with your true, confident, and intuitive being. I'm Jo from mindfulintrovert.com, an inner peace and abundance coach, and my purpose here is really to help you slow down, look inwards, and create a more peaceful life by learning to trust your intuition and exploring your spirituality at a soul level. Ready to be empowered? Let's get on with the episode. Hello, today we are exploring how you can make use of a very interesting part of your brain to make your manifestations come true, and how you can basically trick yourself into believing that you have achieved your goal. And when you do that, it brings you that much closer to you. Hey there, mindful friend. Are you ready to kick up your joy levels and manifest the life you've been dreaming of? Get ready for the Manifesting Bliss Workshop, a one-day journey to unlock your inner joy, set powerful intentions, and make positive changes in every aspect of your life. Join us for a day of expert guidance, practical tools, and a supportive community. It's time to break free from the ordinary and step into the extraordinary. Reserve your spot now and let the bliss begin. Visit the show notes to get all the details. Don't miss out. Your journey to joy starts here. So we are definitely exploring a different way of doing manifesting work. And this can seem very weird to you initially, because if you're not used to visualize your goals as if you already received them, so displaying with time, if you're not used to this will definitely feel odd. And when I first got introduced to this, I already knew the concept, but I never thought of using it this way. And it makes perfect sense because we have been using this for so long, but it hasn't been successful because we've been using it to activate stress. So let me explain. Let's just start by understanding the role of the reticular activating system. And I've had some other episodes explaining what this is. The RAS, let's just say the RAS, maybe for short and easier. And this part of your brain is really a network of neurons that is located in the brainstem, and they really regulate behavior. They regulate your state of awakeness and consciousness, and regulate your emotions as well. So it basically filters the reality to show you what you think that might be important and necessary for your survival or for your life, basically. I always like to think of it as your own algorithm. You know how social media has the algorithm that if it sees that you are watching a certain content, a certain topic for a very long time, or sometimes just even a minute. If you become aware that that content is there, your algorithm is always keep showing more and more and more of that content because it thinks that it's important to you, you're giving it your attention. So if you're giving attention, if you're giving your energy, if you're literally using up calories to think about that, it's important to you. So it's going to keep feeding you more information. So the reticular activating system is nothing more than really your algorithm. And When we were a kid, I don't know if you did this, but when I was a kid, I would count the colors of the car. So how many cars I would see with this certain color or with this certain characteristic or this certain number or letter in the license plate. So all of these games that I'm sure that in English is that game I spy with my little eye or something like that. Obviously in Portuguese we wouldn't be doing that, but you get the gist of it. So it's really focusing your attention on something that you're looking for, and then your brain is going to tell you, here, there you go. I am going to be laser focused on this information and I'm going to delete everything else. So if you're looking for red cars, your brain is ultra focused on red cars, and any other color is going to bypass very fast. So this is the benefit of using and having this part of our brain, because it really allows us to navigate the world in a much more efficient way, and in a much more aligned with our own thoughts and the way that we live life. But this can be very nasty, because if you're stressed and if you're on the downward spiral, you're going to continue to go there, because again, that's what you're focusing on. If you're saying things to yourself, why does this keep happening to me? Why? And this is the true goal of this episode, is to reframe this for you and help you use the why questioning to your benefit. So there is a film, I can't remember the name now, but it's on Netflix, and it was made by the same people that did The Secret. What's it called? Something Dream. I can't remember now. But it's an actual film with Kate Hudson. Is it Kate Hudson? I don't even know. Oh my God, why can't I remember? You see, why can't I remember? I will never remember because I'm saying, why can't I remember? It doesn't matter. It's a really nice film. It's the same Dare to Dream. I think that's what it's called. Let me Google. The Dare to Dream. Yes, Dare to Dream. There you go. Thank God. You see, I remembered. Dare to Dream is a film that is on Netflix, and it's basically telling the story of a mom that I'm not going to try not to spoil it for you, but basically is a widow and is left with 2 kids, and the house is in very bad condition, and then more things happen, and very continuously bad things happen to her, and she is just stuck in that idea of why does this keep happening to us? Why us? What have we done that to be deserving of this, right? So is this mindset that really is going to keep her there. Obviously, this is the film, but it illustrates the reality, because a lot of people, when something bad happens, and when I moved to the UK, I started to hear people say, oh, bad things always happen in threes. And this was something that I never really realized. But now that I'm aware of it, I'm like, okay, it's almost like my brain is waiting for the second and the third thing to happen once the first quote unquote bad thing happens. Because that's the presupposition that we are really exposing ourselves to, is bad things come in threes. So if we continue to believe stuff like this, it will continue to become our reality. And so in the movie, the guy comes, one of the characters that is actually, I'm not going to say, you go watch it on Netflix. But one of the guys says, we are like a magnet. If our magnet is dirty, we are not going to be attracting what we want. Meaning that if our mind is polluted with low frequency, negative emotions and thoughts, that really scares away our goals and the manifestations that we desire. Because it makes us believe that it's not important, it's not possible for us, we're not deserving, because of the things that we keep telling ourselves and we keep believing. And the questions that we keep asking, because whenever you ask a question, think of your brain as, well, I would say Alexa or Siri, but sometimes they're not very helpful. But think of them like that. So when you ask something, they want to answer and they're trying to find the best answer to give you. So your brain is like that. If you're asking questions, why does this keep happening to me? Your brain is going to be very helpful in trying to find a solution and trying to find evidence to show you, here's why. And so you're conditioning your brain to think that that's exactly the way to live, is to continue to show proof that you fail, that bad things happen to you, and all of that. So how can you use this to your benefit and use this algorithm, this special algorithm, the reticular activating system, to your benefit? I was in one of the Facebook groups that I'm on, and I saw someone, I can't even remember what the question was, but I saw someone write about the law of attraction and write about trans questioning. And I had no idea what this was. And I Googled, and the only thing I could find was trans people questioning their identity, all of that. And I said, yeah, this is not it. Because what this person was saying, and I actually have the message here, is trans questioning is a way of reprogramming your subconscious. You basically ask what your goal is in question form, and your subconscious goes to work making it true, which is absolutely what your subconscious does. And she says, example, how am I making so much money? Why is my bank account growing so fast? And this seems like silly, especially if this is not your current reality. But I don't know if this is called trans questioning or whatever it is. Let me know, reach out to me. And if you understand this, please let me know what this trans questioning is, because I couldn't find anything on Google for the life of me. But I get what she says, and I truly believe this. And I've been coaching a lot of clients saying, okay, it's important to really stop asking these sort of questions, because whatever questions you ask, you will receive an answer. So if you're asking bad things, you're going to receive evidence of that you are going to continue to receive those bad things. So first of all, stop. Stop doing this. Stop asking, why does this keep happening to me? Why am I alone? Am I going to be alone for the rest of my life? Why can't I find a good person to have a proper relationship with? All of this, I get it, but that places you in the victim mentality and keeps you stuck. Keeps you stuck because you are accepting your reality, and you are accepting somehow that you are deserving of it. Okay, so you can really start asking, why is my bank account growing so fast? And you can become curious, and this is where mindfulness comes in play a lot with the beginner's mind, and having a childlike approach to things with a lot of curiosity. And this is exactly the type of mentality that is necessary to have this work. Because if you are someone that is extremely serious, extremely rational, and is not open to explore it, I'm sorry, this episode is not for you. This content is not for you. Goodbye. See you next time. Because if you're here and if it's like 10 minutes in, whatever, you want to really make this work. And so in order for you to make this work, first of all, becoming aware of the things that you're doing that maybe are not working out, which you are here, you're listening to me. Maybe you are resonating with some of the things that I said about not about doing this. I've done this so many times. And sometimes when I'm really hitting rock bottom, I say, why is this happening to me? But then I say to myself, because it's going to make you grow. That's why, because I've conditioned my brain so much to believe that things are not happening to me, but for me. That is my my belief that is a core belief that makes it so that my brain automatically says, you know what, Joanna, just snap out of it, empower yourself, and either process this, be sad for a minute, but then understand that this is for your greater good, or just, there's no other option. Because I've done this work. Because in the beginning I would say, oh, poor me, oh, this is happening and I'm so sad. But cannot be like that. If you believe that the world is out to get you, the world will be out to get you. And I think I've mentioned this on the podcast in an earlier episode, but one time I was talking to a friend that goes solo travel a lot. She's a girl. And she solo travels everywhere. She went to Morocco, goes to Bali, goes to everywhere. And I was asking her, look, how did you go to Morocco? Were you not like afraid of things happening, especially being a girl alone, blah, blah, blah. And she said, look, if you have that in your mind, the probability of it happening is higher because you have, like, it's in your mind, like you're thinking of it, you're afraid of it. And she's totally right. Not to say that things don't happen and cannot happen, but the likelihood and the risk of it happening is that minimized when you don't have a reference for it in your mind, when it's not present in your subconscious mind, when there's no fear associated to it. So that is another way to use your reticular activating system. And you say, oh, how do I erase these fears from my mind? You shift focus to something else. There's different approaches. You can process the fear and you can journal about it, but then you need to let it go. Because if you just keep trying to talk about the fear and trying to Google a lot of things, I have an actual good story to tell you about this. When I was, I don't know, like almost 2 years ago, 1.5 years ago or something, when I was dealing with my breakup of the 7-year relationship. And I was just feeling very crappy, and I was trying to Google and would watch YouTube videos about narcissists and this and that and toxic relationships. And then I found myself thinking, if I keep doing this, if I keep watching these videos and being submerged in this content, I'm never going to heal. I'm never really going to snap out of it and focus on myself and focus on the good that I want to feel, rather than trying to find blame or trying to find some sort of reasoning for things happening the way they were happening. So once I started shifting my attention from that type of content to, okay, how do I want to feel? I want to feel beautiful. I want to feel energized. I want to feel desired. I want to feel worthy, this and that. That was the best thing I could have done. So it's not so much that you ignore what is going on. You need to process it somehow, but you need to shift your focus. Decide, okay, I'm feeling crappy right now. How do I want to feel instead? What do I want my life to look like? My life is terrible right now. I don't have no money in my bank account. Okay, so how much money do I want? What is possible for me? So it's these type of questions that are going to catapult you into success, because they shift your mindset. They make you grow. They make you go outside of your comfort zone and explore into a more expansive part. Using these questions, why is this happening? But instead of why is this awful thing happening, ask yourself, why am I getting this promotion? How come this has happened to me? Why have I found this amazing person? And what have I done to deserve finding this amazing person in my life? So thinking of these questions as ways to, again, accept, because that's the underlying premise of it all, is that you have accepted that it is your reality, is who you are, is present in you, that you have whatever goal you're trying to manifest. versus you believing that all bad things happen to you and that's your identity, that's your presence, that's your reality. So it's using the same technique, but shifting the focus, which is what works for everything, really. Using the same technique, but shifting the focus. So shift the focus to what you want. And if you don't believe that it is possible, let's say you want to get more money and you say, why is my bank account keep growing every day? And I keep getting more and more money each day. Be playful. Be childlike in the sense of, how would a child that is imaginative, that is playful, that is curious, what would they do? And if you struggle to think like this, think, what would I think of this when I was a child? How would I play with this? Have fun with this? Because this is free. Visualizing your goals, journaling on your goals, doing these questionings and reframing your mindset like this is free. Yeah, it takes some energy and some time, but you can do this while you're driving. You can do this while you're waiting in line in the supermarket. You can do this all the time. All the time. And the more you do it, the easier it will become. And you'll find that it's way more fun to spend time thinking like this than to be in the present moment that sometimes is not ideal. And not to say that you will always be in the future. That's not it. But if you're unhappy in your current state, you can always daydream. I think I told you this already in one of the episodes as well, but when I was working in my day job as a biomedical scientist, we would have like a morning break. I think this was a morning break or this was a lunch break or something. I was in the breakout room, right? Like the staff room. And I was just there visualizing and listening to my Indian songs where it's just like, ooh, and I don't know. I was just there vibing. And I was imagining that I was in the Maldives and I was just feeling the warm sun in my skin. And I'm there already now. And I was just imagining seeing the water line and getting in the water and being so warm and feeling just the wind on my face and hearing the people laugh. And I was there, I was just there as I just went there now. So I was just vibing. And I was sat next to a coworker, and once that finished and I got up to start work, she said, "Oh, you were really vibing with that song, weren't you?" And I said, "Yeah, I wasn't here." And so long. And this actually started to become a little joke between me and my coworkers, because they would come in for breaks and they would say, "Oh, where are you, Joanna? Are you in the Maldives or are you here?" And so that started to be a little bit of a fun topic, because many times I was not there. There were tasks that we could do a little bit on autopilot. So I was on autopilot many times and I was somewhere else. I was in the Maldives, and they knew it. They could see that I wasn't there, because they knew that my desire was to be in the Maldives. And I went to the Maldives. I spent 2 weeks in the Maldives. And I lived a lot of the things that I visualized. Some even better, that I had no idea that I could potentially create and experience. So it's having this flexibility in your mind to really focus on what you want rather than what you have in your present reality that is not favoring your life. Okay? This is not to detach you from reality, okay? That's not what it is. But this is, if you're unsatisfied with something in your life, how can you change it? What can you do to create a better reality. And it all starts with how you think and how you visualize your future. If you visualize your future the same way that your past is and your present is, well, chances are you're not going to like it very much. So start visualizing a future that you like. Okay, that's all for today, and I'll see you next time. Bye. If you are fully committed to your growth, I invite you to book a free inner peace assessment call with me, where we create an action plan to manifest a life worth living with more inner peace and self-love. And for more inspiring content, follow me on Instagram at Coach Joanna Calado and subscribe to my YouTube channel at The Intuitive Being. I will leave everything in the show notes so that you do not miss a thing. I'll see you in the next episode, and until then, slow down and trust yourself. Bye.